Check one. Check one. It's Tom. Hi, Diane. Oh, wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. The forehead shot. Huh. Here we go. Here we go. Five, four, three, two, one. All right, so I made a note, not a mental note. I made an actual audio note for me because I wanted to say something out here. Today I had very, very minor altercations with 5 different people in the road. No, hold on.
Pulled out of the dump. This bitch was fucking insane.
Okay, so one was leaving the dump in my town. I have it's a long road and the dump is off that long road. So I'm pulling out of the dump onto a main road. I look to the right, nobody. I look to the left, there's nobody. There's nobody in either area. And so, hi, how you doing? Hi. And so I pull out. I look to the left, there's nobody. I pull out and there's nobody. There's nobody coming from the left. So I pull out to the right. Next thing I know, somebody's on my ass. Hi, Peter. Hi, Peter. How are you? Somebody's on my ass. Behind me, this woman, and she's going. She is. We can tell very angry because she's now riding right on my ass, and she's looking at me, and with her hands, I was like, "What the?" Now, obviously, if I pull out of the dump on a road, and there's no cars to the left, and I just pull out normally at a normal rate, which is what I did, you're going too effing fast. And I'm sorry I disrupted your freaking flow. That's on you. So in a perfect world, I've had this happen when I pulled out of my house before, where I've just pulled out, there's nobody coming, and somebody's barreling down and then has laid up. When I first moved here, somebody laid on the horn for like 5 seconds. In my perfect world, some shootings are very justified. In the perfect world, that guy who did that in front of my house, I would have shot him in the head. And this lady, I should have stopped the car, just walked over, just shot her in the head, and then wrote in a note saying, sorry, this lady was such a dumb pain in the ass bitch. Too bad she had to suck so bad that because she was a dumb small brain idiot, and I would have taken a note and then put it in the skull hole that the gun had caused. Now, that's not it. There's another one. I'm in Newburyport today. I went to the dentist. We'll get into that. There's a blinking red light in front of me. And across the intersection, there's a guy walking a dog. I come to the red light. For a second, look to the left, there's no cars, think everything's fine. And I advance 1 foot, and the guy is looking at me, and he suddenly stops, like melodramatic. And I wasn't going to go. I went 1 foot and realized there was somebody there. And he continued walking across the street, but was shaking his head the whole time. Now, in the perfect world, if where all is the shaking the head thing the whole time, that was doing it for me. In the perfect world, what would have happened was that I could just put the car in the park, walk out, say what was going on exactly, and the moment he starts talking, I shoot the dog in the head. And then he says, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did that." And I said, "I know. Maybe you shouldn't be such a dickhead." And then I shoot him in the head. And then I beat his body with a dead dog. Now, another time, this also happened in Newburyport. This is amazing. This one gets me. So you have to remember, I'm at a red light now. Now, across the street, there is somebody hitting the pedestrian walk button. And that's to my right. So I'm waiting to take a right to cross through the pedestrian walk button. He's way on the other side of the street, so whatever. So as soon as the pedestrian button goes on, all the other traffic stops, and it's very hard to get out of here because there's too many cars. I immediately scooch through the pedestrian walk area. The guy, still 40 feet away on the other side of the street, goes, "Oh, thanks." Like, I heard his effing feelings. Like, what a pussy move that is. Thanks. Yeah, you had 40 feet, and I'm out of here. Like, what's wrong? No, because you're not allowed to. It's the invisible zone is erected. You can't do that. No, and now I'm offended, you bitch. And he was with his wife, whatever. In the perfect world, we know what should happen there, right? What I would have done is I stop the car. I walk over to him. I shoot his wife in the head, and I say, none of this needed to happen at all. If you weren't an idiot, none of this needed to happen at all. Whatsoever. So you remember that. He might keep alive. I say, you remember that next time, and during the funeral, and everybody's gathered around, you remember, this didn't need to happen. Now, there were 2 other times. Did I record these for myself?
Because she came out of nowhere, and so she drove right up on me. This cocksucker Newburyport just a second ago.
Okay.
Hits the walk sign. I pull right. He says, "Thank you."
Yep.
This lady right out of this little car wash. I pull in to take left. She wants to take left.
Oh, yes. This is leaving the car wash today. That's right. There's one of these neutral zones in the middle of the street in Newburyport where, you can use it to turn left, or other people use it to turn right. She's in the middle there waiting to turn left. I then scooch in front of her because I'm going to go around her. But I'm saying to her, "You can go," and she's saying, "You go in there." She's saying, and I said, "Fine, whatever." Hey guys, come on. I say, "Hi, thank you, buddy." I say, and she does this. I can't believe it, and she's doing me this look. Now, in a perfect world, I should have just obviously walked out of the car, just shot her in the head, put the car in drive, and hope it drove off the pier in Newburyport, and then she was never heard from again.
Telling her to go. She goes, shakes her head, says, "Another guy shook his head as well." When I was leaving Newburyport at the light.
Okay, I gotta get that one.
And he thought I was going too fast. He just shook his head and walked.
Yep. Okay, so the last one I can't remember, but it was 5 altogether. I hate people. It's freaking. People suck, especially people who are wrong but think they're in the right and get all judgy about it with the head shake. Like, you're all bitches, and you deserve. And I hope that all these people die. I do. Freaking a-holes. Now, that brings me to the dentist in Newburyport. I see this great dentist. Great dentist. I love it. It overlooks Newburyport. There's all sorts of beautiful people walking around. It's like, this is ridiculous. Oh, the dentist did get snippy at me at one point. He said, I feel like you're trying to help me by moving your jaw. It's not helping. Okay. But Steve told me not to talk to the hygienist anymore, so I didn't. But then she said something about her kids and this and that, and or her son. And she said, what about you? And I said, oh, I have 5 kids. And she said, it's very funny. She said, wow, busy man. I thought, well, this is the same lady who was laughing at my friend Sap, whose heart stopped while getting gassed at the dentist, and Dr. Dan torturing me. Very interesting. Very interesting that she's calibrated like that. I didn't mind, obviously. But I thought that was interesting. That was my day in Newburyport. Can I tell you, by the way, I haven't been really to the dentist in really 10 years. I haven't seen my doctor in a couple of years. It's for the same exact reason, because I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this same thing, finding out the same crap. I told you that I have this tooth that is a baby tooth. I'm sorry, Steve. And fine. They keep telling me years and years, for now the last 30 years, that I'm going to have to get it because it's going to hurt. I have to get it taken out, whatever. This place did the same to me when I only went to this dentist because I told you, I feel like I have a cavity on my lower left side of my mouth. They look and they don't see a cavity. This is the last time. But they decided I'm going to go on this, take this campaign of treatment to clean my gums and my teeth because I haven't been flossing for a decade and whatever. So instead, they make 4 appointments. One is the right side cleaning of all the teeth. One is the left side cleaning of all the teeth. One is filling. I have a cavity apparently somewhere. And then the other is to look at the baby tooth to see what they need to do. For the baby tooth. Whatever. That's coming in a couple months. I'll probably blow that one off. So anyway, the whole reason I went there is because I have a toothache. Any liquid or food in the left side of my mouth hurts. So I went there. But they said, we're deprioritizing that, or we really need to work with it. No, they're doing it their own way. So today I get the deep cleaning on the right side of my teeth. So all my right side teeth, they gave me 7 shots, by the way, of whatever painkiller that is. 7 shots. So now they tell me that since they did the deep cleaning and they put all sorts of stuff and I have to take stuff and whatever because it's like it's not surgery, but it's pretty thorough. They said I can't eat on the right side of my mouth or drink on the right side of my mouth for 2 weeks, which means I can now only use the part that hurts. Like, holy frig. This is why I dropped out of the system. I'm so freaking sick of this stuff. All right. Steve from Merrimack made an observation the other day about one of the ads that plays at the end of the podcast. No, I haven't heard this one, and I went and tried to check. I assume they're geo-targeted or whatever. Although we live close, so I don't know. And anyway, this is what he said. This is him. He recorded from his car and with a little voiceover from Steve.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Do you want to know the best part about being married to a woman? That there's no man involved? I mean, true, but I was going to say that it's a sleepover every single night with your best friend. Oh yeah, that part's cute too. I'm Taryn, she's Cammie, we're married, and staying up is our weekly pillow talk out loud with you. We're giggling, we're gossiping, we're arguing. Classic marriage stuff. Just having fun being wives while we navigate growing up and building a family together. Then our sleepover grows. Our listeners call the PP hotline with their own gossip,
PP hotline,
spirals, all the stuff they'd only tell their best friends. So it's a private sleepover, but you are invited. Staying Up with Taryn and Cammie, new episodes weekly. Follow wherever you listen.
This is the program I was referring to.
All I can say is this: I've been listening to Taryn and Cammie now, and I have subscribed. I am a Patreon member. I am a frequent caller to the PP hotline, and I suggest you do too. Please support our sponsors. Buy one, whatever they are, please. Yeah, that is interesting. It is interesting that so many podcasts have so many way off brand advertisements. Like we talked about the other one that Steve and I listened to that's on like the commentary podcast that doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense.
Oh my God.
Which is another thing that I think those guys might be gay. Yeah,
I'm Oliver Darcy.
And I'm John Passantino.
those are the guys who say that they thought Brad Pitt was like over the hill or something, and oh my God, you can't say that. It's weird. It's weird, but buy that too if it plays in my thing. I don't really get it. Shooting today in Massachusetts, by the way. If that guy, in on Memorial Drive, a guy with a big long gun. The footage was cool. I think they waxed him. Sayonara, dude. I like this. When I'm all for waxing the shooters. I don't need to know anything about them. Wax them all. Let's like, what are we gonna do? Have a trial for these people? No. Wax away, my friend. All right, now that I get the important stuff over, let me tell you. There's a great piece about. There's a great article about Graham Platner in the Washington Free Beacon, which is a great article, which is a great publication too. Let me find it here. By Eliana Johnson, who we love. She's in the commentary podcast too. Meet working class Mainer Graham Platner's oyster farming business partner, an elite boarding school graduate who drinks foraged spring water and owns the island where the farm is based. Robert Allerton Cushman III, the son of a Harvard-educated Canadian public health official, has flown under the radar as Platner casts himself as a blue-collar commercial fisherman. Means far-left Democratic Senate nominee Graham Platner has leaned on his career as a working-class oyster farmer to cast himself as a blue-collar everyman. His Ivy League business partner, who owns the secluded island where the farm is based, is, well, anything but. Robert Cushman III is an elite New England boarding school graduate who has described his habit of drinking, quote, foraged spring water with Redmond sea salt. He got into the oyster farming business, he has said, after having had, quote, a liminal seafood experience at the age of 4. The website for the Platner Cushman Farm, which is officially called the Frenchman Bay Oyster Company, but does business under the name Wakiag Neck Oyster Company, describes Cushman as a local food advocate with long family ties to Maine. But Cushman was born in Africa and raised in Canada, according to an interview he gave to CKTH, short for Can't Knock the Hustle, an online wetsuit store that sells $25 wooden hangers and counts Cushman as a, quote, founding member. He has spoken of spending summers in Maine with his family and his liminal seafood experience in Maine. He said in 2010 came when, quote, he was about 4 and it involved fresh mussels collected 100 feet from the table. Quote, I crave that rich, savory rush of amino acids that it has in such abundance, Cushman said, describing the love of the seafood in an interview with Greenhorns, an organization focusing on food justice and creating a welcoming cultural space. Can you imagine these people? Can you imagine hanging out with these people? After attending the St. Paul's School in New Hampshire, an ultra-elite boarding school that costs upwards of $80,000 a year and is the subject of the 2012 book Privilege, The Making of an Adolescent Elite at St. Paul's School, Cashman went to Dartmouth College, where he studied religion and cultural anthropology, and then received a master's degree in agriculture, food, and environment from Tufts. He moved to Maine around 2011, according to his LinkedIn, working as an aquaculture research assistant and as dorm parent at a private academy on the coast. In 2018, he joined Platner as partner in the Frenchman Bay Oyster Company. Cushman provides more to the farm than his advanced degree. His family owns Ingalls Island, located about 10 miles southwest of Platner's home in the town of Sullivan. Cushman's Island is effectively home to Platner's oyster farm. Platner's 2021 aquaculture lease application, obtained by the Washington Free Beacon, shows 3 small farming sites located just off the island's shores. Platner testified during the application process that he, quote, has a relationship with the island's owners and has communicated his proposed plans with them. Another member of the Cushman family submitted testimony, quote, identifying herself as a riparian landowner who supported Platner's application. While Platner says he, quote, lived a fairly simple life and never been close to money or power, despite attending an elite New England prep school, Cushman's lifestyle sounds more like that of a multimillionaire Silicon Valley founder than someone who enjoys the physical and mental demands of working on the water, as the Oyster Farm's website says. Cushman has described his morning routine as follows. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is one of two things, maybe two of two things, and I think you can guess. I start by hydrating with foraged spring water with Redmond sea salt, then seek out sunlight or red light, EMR-TAK. He told CKTH in 2024, if I can, I then do some Wim Hof breath. I do some Wim Hof breath work in sauna space, followed by a cold shower. If it's summer, then I take a cold plunge in my modified chest freezer. All this is followed by a somewhat experimental coffee recipe and meditation, journaling, and reading. Okay. He's certainly a DB, but there's other stuff certainly at play here. I think we can all agree. Hold on, let me just... Sally, can you let the rat out, please? Thank you. Cushman also says he's an alumnus of, quote, the Kaizen School of Self-Reflection and Continual Improvement. Kaizen is a Japanese work philosophy test known for being used at Toyota factories. He said his favorite convenience store snacks are some local grass-fed jerky or biltong if it's around, whatever that is, biltong, and a hard kombucha. Asked to name a guilty pleasure you want to own, Cushman replied, Samina bed for health, a reference to a bed designed and handcrafted in the Australian Alps. It costs between $10,000 and $20,000. And BMW 3 Series for speed. Both products embody solid German engineering. Together, what a DB, and some other things. Together, Platner and Cushman appeared to lead what is more of a boutique hobby farm whose main function is to supply oysters to a restaurant owned by Platner's mother, than a business that pays the bills. Platner, who receives roughly $4,800 per month via VA disability benefits, did not take a salary from the company last year, though his wife, a school teacher, did, according to his personal financial disclosure. The filing lists one entity as paying Platner more than $5,000. The Ironbound Restaurant and Inn, a casual fine dining restaurant, an old world luxury hotel owned by Platner's mother, which is the primary purchaser of his oysters. The oyster farm is, quote, not currently taking our tour reservations, according to its website, and has not posted to Facebook in 9 months since the Platner launched his campaign. This time last year, in late April and early May, the company was posting videos to Instagram showing Platner preparing his boat and going out to farm oysters. This year, the company has traded those posts for political ones, bashing President Donald Trump and Platner's opponent, Republican Senator Susan Collins. That suggests Cushman has not taken over operations and does not rely on the business for income. The farm was founded by a third man, Jock Crothers, whom Platner has described as a, quote, family friend. Crothers became too old to manage the farm, asked Platner to take it over. Platner has said he would not have been able to start the business without his VA benefits. This likely means that his disability benefits allowed him to operate the farm without needing it to generate any meaningful income. The realities of Platner and Cushman's business, quote, business, it's in quotes, has not stopped elite media outlets like Condé Nast's Bon Appetit from declaring that the working-class oysterman Platner would become the first commercial fisherman to be a United States senator if he defeats Collins in November. Platner's aquaculture lease application, however, describes a much smaller operation used to supply a single location, like the restaurant owned by Platner's mom, with oysters, according to a commercial fisherman in Maine. This is more of a boutique operation, closer to a hobby farm, said the fisherman who requested anonymity to speak candidly about Platner. I think if you talk to a lot of commercial fishermen, they would say that it's a hobby, not a commercial fisherman. Neither Platner nor Cushman responded to a request for comment. Real estate records obtained by the Free Beacon show that Cushman first obtained a direct stake in Ingalls Island, the family islet associated with Platner's oyster farm, in 2021. Around that time, Platner was applying for his aquaculture lease when he and a relative named Emily, who appears to be his sister, purchased a 25% share in the island from another member of the Cushman family for an unknown price. 3 years later, in 2024, Rob Cushman and Emily Cushman received additional ownership rights from Cushman's father. So there you go. In other words, everything about the guy is just false. It just is. I don't really care, but it's false. The only thing that's is it still in my head? It can't be still in my head. No, it's not still in my head, is it? No, that's old, right? Place to myself on phone. Look at those plugs. Yeah, not yet. Although my kids say that I'm going to need them fixed. It was Sue O'Connell. I'm calling 5150. Hi, Tom. Mass has a 10 road clip limit. 10 round clip limit. Don't waste any. I see. Oh yeah. That's a good point. Good to know. When is the Dr. Dan doc coming out? They might think I'm using meth. You're gonna get skinny. Muff Dive Pod. Glory Hall Talk may have got the food advocate who isn't. So yeah. No, I don't think that's gonna be coming. I don't think that they'll. I don't think so. But the Platner thing I thought was just interesting because like people, the left just wants to believe stuff. By the way, remember I read that Facebook post yesterday from the unhinged people. They're back at it again today. Listen to this post. This shows a picture. Trump is putting a statue of himself in Mar-a-Lago. They show a picture of the Saddam Hussein statue and then one of the Trump statue. And this guy tweets, "Be a real pity if the golden boy ended up the same way, right?" It's like, do you guys hear yourself always talking about having the president killed? It's like crazy. It's crazy. But they all pile on, and they're all in the comments like, yeah, you should be dead. Like, okay, remember, you think you're the good guys. You think you're the good guys. You are not the good guys if this is what you're doing with your time. You're simply not. Sorry about that. Let's see. There's a Platner. There's a Trump. Diana Rossini kisses her husband on Mother's Day as a pair of scenes for the first time. They're kissing out in public. I don't know. Now listen to this. This is a Democrat. This is Democrats in L.A. This is a spot against supposedly Spencer Pratt. You tell me if it sounds like it's against him.
Republican Spencer Pratt is the last thing Los Angeles needs for mayor. Pratt opposes using taxpayer money to build brand new houses for our unhoused neighbors, saying it's time for the homeless to get help or get out. Pratt thinks LA needs thousands more police officers rather than more social workers, and Republican Spencer Pratt thinks public employee unions should have less power, not more. LA is on the right track and needs to stay the course. Vote no on Republican Spencer Pratt.
They're telling me that's against Spencer Pratt. I don't think so, man. I think that's making the final case for him. But yeah, I mean, they're just very, very, very upset. Boston Globe: libraries are for everyone. How immigrants are finding community in Massachusetts libraries. And it's basically, essentially, these librarians who are the biggest advocates, activists in the world, in all these rich towns are putting bilingual books out. I mean, it's all just navel gazing stuff. Is it navel? It's navel gazing. That's right. There's nothing to it. It's just vacuous, dumb stuff. But of course, this is where we are. That's what the left wants to do. That's what they do. Okay. Do we want to play this girl? She's going everywhere. She's been on. Okay, we'll play it. This girl's been. This is a viral thing.
Remember in college when all you had to do was get blackout drunk on any given night, the night of your choosing, in order to find like a hot, jacked guy? Now when I see a guy who's jacked, I'm like, that's so nostalgic. I used to have my absolute pick of the litter with you, and now at 33 years old, I'm traipsing around the city in high heels, trying to find a fucking bar that will let me in, and then also trying to find a guy who's like hot and jacked, and like I have to care about like personality and your job now. Like, are you ambitious? Because like I have to actually want to spend time with you. Whereas in college, like all you had to care about was, are you hot? Like I miss those days. Remember?
Yeah. You know what? Maybe there's something to this not being promiscuous. Maybe there's something to it. You know, when I was obviously 23 years old, I was hoping that they'd be promiscuous. Very rarely did anybody in the groups that I was running with, if you were hooking up the first night, you were not generally, you were avoiding that person after that. Too bad that that's what culture is. It like tells women to be that person. Because I don't think it comes natural for women. I think it's quite a hurtful thing. And it's got to be. Imagine that being a woman feeling that it's your responsibility to go, to hook up, to be used by a guy for one evening, for him to blow you off and to try to tell yourself that that's fine and it doesn't hurt and it's not painful. Like that, how crappy is that? How crappy is that? I didn't used to really care, but Alice brought it up and said, like, how terrible is that? Like, I've got a daughter now. Like, and I know it's such a cop-out thing to say, but why would you want to live that life? Why would I like? It's terrible. And I will say that it's boomers and it's Gen X and it's to, I think, maybe lesser degree millennials, but like the social rules were not fair to women. And the third wave feminism thing, saying, yeah, ladies, smoke a cigar just like the guys do, and hook up just like the guys do, and then if you're supposed to if you have to get an abortion or whatever, you take yourself there and just like walk it off as if it's not hurting or emotionally hurt. That's not, girls should not try to be guys. It's just bad news. It's freaking bad news. Every single person who I've talked to, well, I shouldn't say this, but I've met a great number of women who in their 30s wishes they didn't act in like that in their 20s. But culture tells them to. Culture just makes it such a win for guys. You're like, your expectations are that you can just you can have sex and you're all set. I mean, but that's the rules, and so it's great for guys. Like, what guy's gonna say no? Nobody. All right, I want to play this cut. This is it's older. I wish I'd met this guy. I did talk to him on the phone once. Christopher Hitchens, talking about Islamic fundamentalism versus what we've got here, and how we shouldn't be blaming ourselves. Hold on one second. Shouldn't be blaming. I'll just play the Hitchens cut. It's a great cut.
In 1788, when the United States was barely a country,
Right.
it was having its sailors taken as slaves by the Barbary states, the states of the Ottoman Empire in North Africa.
Tripoli.
Tripoli.
Shores of Tripoli.
Shores of Tripoli. Ships stopped. Its crews carried off into slavery. We estimate 1.5 million European and American slaves taken between 1750 and 1815. Jefferson and Adams went to their ambassador in London and said, why do you do this to us? The United States has never had a quarrel with the Muslim world of any kind. We weren't in the Crusades. We weren't in the war in Spain. Why do you do this to our people and our ships? Why do you plunder and enslave our people? And the ambassador said very plainly, Mr. Abdul Rahman said, because the Quran gives us permission to do so, because you are infidels. And that's our answer. And Jefferson said, well, in that case, I will send a navy which will crush your state, which he did. Islamic fundamentalism is not created by American democracy. It's a lie to say so. It's a masochistic lie. And it excuses those who are the real criminals, and it blames us for the attacks made upon.
Isn't that great? That was the old politically incorrect, I think, with Bill Maher. Isn't that great? I freaking miss Hitchens. Jeez, we got to get more Hitchens. I'm going to try to bring some classic great audio. I had that Helen Andrews stuff yesterday. I'm gonna try to do that every show. Tom, in your recent rant about the dentist, you said there's a Dr. Dan doc coming out. Is that the Kirk podcast? Vacuous skank. I agree with you on that. No, I thought. Did I say that? I know that Kirk said that he was going to do it, but he shelved his. I don't know where I heard that there was a definite documentary coming out. I know that people had talked about it, and I know there's been like real crime. What's it called? Real crime podcasts, whatever those are, that have mentioned him, and there have been episodes in the YouTube movies about him. There's some pretty good ones out there, but not real long. The problem is, and I was with Alice today in the car, and she said, "Why don't you write a book about Dr. Dan?" It's not quite there. Dr. Dan's not quite there. First of all, I don't think he did. He wasn't. He just brutalized people, and he was mean. He'd punch people and slap them, and he would slap me, and I would scream in the room, and he'd slap me for screaming. And his henchwoman was right there to shut you up too. And then he used to also he'd put the seat way down, so your head's almost touching the ground, and drive his shoulder into you and his elbow, and he did other things to other people, supposedly taking out teeth that didn't need to be taken out. No, I talk about this baby tooth that's disgusting. I know it's disgusting, but it's got a filling in it from Dr. Dan, and I don't know that I really needed it. The guy loved torturing kids, and the problem is that it was kids from rich towns. I mean, not all the kids were rich, and I wasn't rich, but it was kids from Winchester, and then he moved to Andover, I think. So it was and nobody died, and so a bunch of rich kids, we'll call them rich kids, got treated mean by a dentist. And what made it so interesting and easy for him was that, in 1979, you guys remember, a lot of you remember, dental work hurt a lot more back then. Anyway, so my mother's hearing me scream back there. She assumes I'm getting a feeling it's the dentist or the other kids too. And plus, he was a charming guy, and back then, kind of a youngish guy. And he was a guy who all the moms liked in town. And he was a guy. He was the dentist for the kids in town. That was just kind of known that you'd go to Dr. Dan. But he was an evil, mean son of a bitch. And I think I told Kirk that man, seeing you get a little piece of paper saying the next time you have an appointment, I dreaded it. It was so scary, especially if you're a little kid. But I used to think about killing him. I thought would love to like one of these drivers. I'd love to go just shoot him. And I remember talking about that in high school. We were hanging out by the train tracks, a bunch of guys and girls together in high school, and everybody having the same consensus. Yeah, he was a piece of crap. Let's kill him. Cheswick says, I had a butcher of a dentist when I lived in LA who did root canals for the money and screwed them up. Oh, Christ. Oh God. My dentist mentioned a root canal today and said, we're not there yet. Freaking, this is what's going to happen here with this dental stuff, Cheswick. Let's be honest. I'm going to get these painful cleanings. I've got my filling, and then I'm saying bye-bye. And that's going to be it. So because I don't, exception of Mr. Toast, I have zero faith in these. I like this dentist that I go to now, and it's wonderful. And I like the fact I can look outside and see all these beautiful Newburyport. I say people, but I'm talking about women. Yeah, it's such a scam. All right, let's do the chat, shall we? Why do you say bad Chinese food? It's funny you say that. Well, I'll get to that. Where's Billy?
Hey, Billy from Manchester.
Hey, Billy.
The coughing and the phlegming. It's May. It's almost mid-May, and and we're still coughing and there's phlegming everywhere. That's number one. Number two, it's very funny. You get this hit piece from Nancy against you, and it's interesting how you've had two main podcasts, and I'm talking about MAIN, not MAINE.
Yep.
But main podcasts. Your two main podcasts suck. Or actually three. All three suck.
How dare you?
the head of them left. So Steve's gone. All of a sudden, the Main Wire podcast sucks. And then Alice leaves, and your 2 other podcasts suck to win. But it's Nancy's fault. Nancy's fault. And now she's complaining it's Nancy's fault. Good Lord. You cannot take the criticism. You're getting very sensitive. I'm not really liking this anymore. 52 seconds.
Oh, come on. No, I like talking about the anatomy of doing the podcast. That's kind of why I brought it up. Like, I'm obviously not going to change anything for Nancy. But the show is different without Steve. Did I tell you that they wanted me to do a radio hit today? A radio station wanted me to do a radio hit, and I've been sending them all over to Featherston because you can't have somebody like Steve do a radio hit on Maine news and politics, and John Featherston do it, and then have Tom Shattuck do it. I'm just nowhere in the league, so.
Hi, Ombudsman Billy from Manchester here.
Hey, Billy.
I just want to point out that in this 53-minute show today, between commercials, chat, and clips that were, by the way, 4 minutes long at some point.
Yeah.
Tom spoke for 7 minutes, and the rest, those 46 minutes, were clips, commercials, and chat. You are a fraud. I told you this show is... I'm not going to let opinions in. That's official ombudsman information there. I'm just letting you know. I think the listeners need to know that you're mailing this one in as well. 40 seconds. Incorrect.
Yesterday was kind of a tough one with some tech problems. But I loved the clips of that woman yesterday. Today was kind of light on audio, but yesterday was heavy on it. Yeah.
Hey, Tom, heard you mention on Sunday's pod that you had some Chinese food for dinner and it wasn't great.
Yeah.
That sucks because nothing worse than looking forward to a meal and then it turns out to be no good. But I think I understand why the Chinese food was not very good. And It might be because you had pad thai. You literally said you had pad thai. Now, I'm not a foodie. I'm not the one with a food podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the one that dreams about pasta Alfredo all day.
Oh.
That's you.
Yes.
And even I know pad thai is not Chinese food. So maybe that's why the quote-unquote Chinese food wasn't very good. Oof. Did you hit your head again?
Did I hit my head at some point? It was Osaka Asian Bistro. So it's an Asian place. Steve knows it probably. By the way, when I say it wasn't very good, it was Alice who had the problem with it. She would put it on blast. The pad thai was fine, actually. I liked it. I would have preferred that if they had that little dolly of hot sauces to put on pad thai. I've been missing the taste of pad thai, so that's why I got that. And then we got some other stuff. I knew I'd whack out the pad thai, but it was fine. It's been so long. We have a child who's allergic to peanuts, so we just don't go to any Thai restaurants. But I did one time in Connecticut, but so I missed that taste, and I'm glad I got the taste. I tell you what was not good though was the pork fried rice. Looked like it was like homemade. It's like no. I want the stuff that's brown. It looks like it's been processed. But who knows? They were nice there. I liked the fact that the family was running it and they were all involved, and I like that. I think that's pretty good. But no, Alice ordered some other stuff like poo-poo platter stuff, and this is fine. I don't want to slam them. That was Alice slamming them. I don't know why I'm involved there. But yes, I'm familiar. I'll tell you one thing. My feeling is, and Tim, you can weigh in on this too, and anybody else can too. My feeling is the way to judge a Chinese restaurant is on the boneless spare ribs. They can't be little strips of candy. They have to be fatty, gorgeous, and plump. And the same thing goes with crab rangoon. It has to be about a half pound of the stuff inside, the cream cheese and the whatever it is inside there. And they can't be skimpy. I mean, that's huge. That was huge for me. Unfortunately, it's all that stuff's getting harder and harder to find. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate that. Yeah, Tim, I know you listened to Mainwire TV. To watch Mainwire TV today was kind of the first slow news day we've had. Although J.D. Vance is coming to Maine, but we can't really talk about what he's doing there yet, even though we'll probably be involved. But try it again tomorrow, and we'll get a fresh start. I appreciate everybody. Thanks again for your patience yesterday. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I'm sorry I yelled at the dog and the child. We'll see you tomorrow.
C'est la vie.